Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Sasha here. Thank you for joining me. If you are new to my channel, then welcome aboard. This is my office. Welcome. This is where I sit and talk to you lot and try and work out what the hell's going on in the crazy badass world out there and try and keep sane. Because there is a great shift and a great awakening going on at the moment. And it's a necessary part of evolution and something that we all can embrace together. It can be well, it is a rocky road. The Great Awakening process for me over the last 4 years has been a proper fast forward. And I am recording this on the monthly, well, it is the month are 4 years ago since my brother-in-law sadly lost his life on Shoreham Beach. That Shoreham Beach is just up the road from Brighton Beach, and it is the beach where he grew up. He was 54 years old at the time, and he was on a journey, as we all are, a journey of discovery, and he was a brave, strong guy. And he was being manipulated and had been abused as a child. A disclosed historic CSA. And then he was somehow drowned in the water of Shoreham Beach. Well, he did actually just about manage to get to the rocks and somehow then didn't manage to be resuscitated because a man, the second witness on the beach, it is public record. So I can say that name to be one Stephen Dawkin. Um, his phone suddenly died when he said he was trying to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Anyway, I do digress. It is that month, and it has been a great awakening because that whole period and everything that's happened with my brother-in-law gave me the massive slap in the face. And it led me on a huge journey of discovery. Um, Looking at narcissistic family dynamics, why these kind of circumstances and dangerous situations and people lose their lives in untimely fashions happen, and to what the hell had been going on leading up to that. In his life, in my husband's life, in my life, and in all of our lives, because it did coincide at the same time with the lockdown. And the lockdown was the kickoff of the demons trying to do the great reset and really take control of us all. But it has caused the great awakening, and slowly but surely more and more and more people are waking up to what I believe is a huge amount of mass psychosis and mental disorder in the people at the top. Um, and this kind of mentality is psychopathic and is dangerous. When people like this have money, influence, and they can do all kinds of very bad things. So this kind of top-down control and domination and coercive control always happens in a hierarchy system. So we live in this hierarchy system of kind of where the king, or it was the queen, but the king makes the rules, and the government uh, do what he says, basically. But they're supposed to be members of parliament for us. They are supposed to serve us, but they do seem to be unaccountable. Uh, and you can see with the likes of kind of Keir Starmer, he does not, everything coming out of his eyes is not a world away from Diddy, in my humble opinion, and I am allowed my opinion. These, he comes from he comes from families, I'd call it a bad family. He probably call it a very good family. But I don't agree because actually, some of the abuse that goes on in the elite families is much worse. It always used to be a thing back in my day that, um, you know what kids are like. People would talk about how the private schools, all the boys were bum boys. And unfortunately, this was a thing. Corporal punishment, this kind of messed up, dodgy teachers and all of this kind of thing has been so prevalent. And they've continued to get away with it, continued to live in their horrible, sick little twisted minds. And now there are reasons and causes, and I have compassion for everybody that has gone through the worst kind of abuse as children, because this sends you two ways. It can either make you really, really anti it, or it can also make it normalized for you. And the normalized pattern is the most dangerous because it's a cycle. And so narcissism is something that is very misunderstood because there are many, many shades of grey of narcissism. And we all have a little bit of that survival of the fittest in us. That if you're going to kill me, I'm going to kill you first. That is a protection level that we have that is kind of inbuilt, but that has been kind of fed like a little monster inside. And it's a dog eat dog world, and it's a selfish world that nobody cares about anybody else. It doesn't matter what they do to each other as long as they get their kicks or their money or their pay rise or their lump or their fat car, or and they'll turn a blind eye to anything at work as long as they get their salary at the end of the month. And I do understand. I do understand why, because I have experienced what it's like when you speak out, because I was literally, it ruined my business, and it really affected everything that I have been working so hard for the last 25 years. I literally lost everything by talking out about any of these things. First of all, I was called an anti-vaxxer by some of the people in my industry. Then it was, oh, she's crazy. I mean, God, if I had a pound for everybody, every time some narcs called me crazy, it's unreal. I would have been millionaire a long time ago before any of them. Um, and so yeah, it's it's always that kind of crazy card that they do when you speak out. And yes, it can really affect and impact your business, but only for so much amount of time. These things, the truth comes out. And narcissistic lying. So liars, the devil lies. The devil will lie and say absolutely anything to get its way. And it is um a pathological liar can't tell the truth. And this is the actual kind of disorder. They can't tell the truth. It's always got to be manipulated. It might have a smidgen of truth in it, but it's always got to be manipulated. Because that's how they get off. There's the sympathy narcissism. So as soon as you speak to somebody, it's like, oh, I've got this wrong with me, oh, and and they're always looking for that little bit of energy. I don't have to say that sympathy isn't a good thing, because it is, but it's part of a conversation. It's not something to be used as, oh, I'm this, it's to be used as a get out, or in the wrong way. It really, the how people use their words and spelling and all of these kind of things is very, very, very important to recognize and to discern and to understand. Um, some people have become very narcissistic in childhood because of narcissism in their family. Other people become, I truly, truly believe, do um, start to get quite high levels of narcissism from addiction, because addiction makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do and that aren't good for you and others. And so those things are very narcissistic, and then they can make you want to steal and manipulate just so you can feed your addiction, whatever that addiction may be. It might be addiction to sex, it might be addiction to really bad stuff like we have with this pedophiles in our society. It's all addiction, and addiction and psychosis sit right next to each other. Many psychopaths are very controlled, psychotic people. Um, their control is everything. They don't want the veil to slip, and so they hide behind a veil of status, sometimes money, all of those kind of things. And then behind closed doors, they get their kicks from being really fucking horrible. And I have experienced a lot of narcissism, and unfortunately, my husband's mother turned out to be a covert, very covert narcissist, a pathological liar. And the things that she did and made up are quite astonishing. I really like, they are quite astonishing. And I will make a whole movie on this whole, everything that's happened. One of the awful things about narcissists is how they will do the worst, things like murder, or, the sexual assault and all of this kind of thing. They will do the worst, and then anybody that calls it will say, no, they're crazy. And this is exactly what's kind of gone on with Diddy and Jaguar Wright. And this is narcissism and this is scapegoating. So they'll do everything to deflect the suspicion. And I've learned so much about this from literally experiencing and witnessing it. Different levels of narcissism from different people, different levels of gaslighting. Gaslighting is a massive, massive, like, they are just gaslighters extraordinaire. They can't answer questions, they can't get in the room, they can't talk like responsible, normal adults. They will always coerce and manipulate and try and do things in behind people's back. This is what my husband and his sadly deceased brother had to deal with. It was going on in the older people in his family, and it's incredibly destructive. And his mother, whatever happened to her at the end, she did not live a nice life. I can tell you that. She had everything that you could have really asked for. She had like four kids and a husband that was looking after her and feed, and all of these things. But she never showed any love. And that's narcissists are incapable of showing love. A real hard narcissist is um, when it's a love problem. And this love problem means that they can be very, very jealous of anybody that does seem to be, from what they see as love, they'll be very nasty about love. They can't feel love, they're scared of love. And love to them is just a game and some twisted, fucked up thing to use. And it's really, really, that's where that kind of dark side of the soul really comes in. I'm a scapegoat um, for different reasons, mostly because of kind of addiction and things in my family. My husband is a scapegoat as well, and I strongly recommend a few people that I've been learning from. Rebecca C. Mandeville is the author of Shamed, Blamed, Shamed, and Scapegoated, or something like that. But Blamed, Shamed, and no, I can't remember. I need to write it down. Anyway, just look up FSA, which is Family Scapegoating Abuse. She is brilliant. She is very, very good at explaining it. She is a survivor of it herself. And understanding why you're a scapegoat and why things are blamed on you is an important part. of healing. It's not your fault. It's not you. And that's the other person, Dr. Romani, who is a world specialist on narcissism. She's just released a book called It's Not You. And this is the understanding of how to heal from scapegoat abuse. Actually, it is often because you're the strongest one, you're the truth teller, you're the one that sees clearly. And so you're the biggest threat. And for that reason, anything and everything is blamed, or people make up things about you. And it's really, really difficult to deal with. I've been on a long, long healing process, actually 4 years since my a brother I would believe was murdered. I've been on a healing process of understanding how to deal with it all. We are the victims of people trying to do the same to us, and this kind of thing. And it is really all reported to the police, don't you worry. And you know, I'm not scared in any way. I just know how awful people are. And that's why we have to talk about these things and understand that people who quite clearly are being incredibly selfish, being incredibly arrogant, being incredibly narcissistic need to be seen, and this kind of behavior and conduct be understood that this is real, this is where the real mental disorder is. Often you'll find people with mental, so said mental health problems, are often the ones that have gone for help because of a level of abuse that they have been or are suffering in their life. And often it is the abuser that is blaming them and shaming them and scapegoating them for everything that they are doing. That is how it works in this system. It rarely do narcissists go and say, "Yeah, I'm a horrible bastard." You know, it's it's quite rare. It's very rare. Dr. Romani says that very few narcissists will ever sit in the therapy chair, and if they do, it's just so that they can kind of suck up the therapist's energy and spin them a yarn. And that will generally be the way that, or they can get off work, or they can just get something for themselves. That will be the reason they are there, and not to even try to be responsible, be accountable, or grow up emotionally, because narcissists are very unemotionally grown. Emotional growth is what has not happened for them. And sometimes, you know, often that is because of abuse in childhood. I heard a psychopath on the Sonia Bolton show the other day, and they asked why, why did he know why he was like it? And he said, yeah, because his mother was uh, sexually and physically abusing him. So that, and he was accepting that's a rare person, a rare psychopath that will do that. But he's got a whole YouTube channel about himself, which is obviously that, like, him talking about what psycho he is, but hopefully not actually hurting people and just putting that out and getting this supply in a non-dangerous way. And that can be the only way. He says they can't heal from it. I believe everybody can heal. I really do. Um, but I do understand why he says that they don't, because it's very difficult for them to even take step one. So it is much more easier for some of the kind of like people that have turned into narcissists because of addiction rather than because of sexual abuse with their children. That, you know, you can often kind of kick that habit and really, really change things. But remember, we have to be discerning. We really do have to be discerning to understand who's telling the truth and who's not, because this is how you keep yourself safe. And I've been fooled so many times. And I'm not sitting here going, yeah, I can see all of the demons. But actually, the less confusion I let them put me in, And the more I open up to my intuition and to my soul and to all of what my heart is always saying or my gut instinct is saying, then there's always signs, always little signs from these demons or these people that are just being narcissistic and being really, there's narcissism and antisocial disorder and behavior. And when I say antisocial, I'm not talking about young kids. I'm talking about people that can't socialize because they're not able to because they're all a bit fucked up. And I'm glad I'm a scapegoat survivor. If you're a scapegoat from any kind of family or any kind of relationship abuse, then I I understand how difficult it is, but I want you to know that you can heal and can get through this, and you're not alone. There is many, many, many of us, and we are stronger. We are strong, strong scapegoats, and fuck their life, and we can make ours better. So yeah, do check out Rebecca Mandeville and Dr. Romano, both on family scapegoating abuse and on narcissism, because they are both brilliant. Have really helped me. Also, Teal Swan really helped me. I know she's not everybody. Well, the more people try and say that she's a cult witch when all she's doing is good, the more I think that she's definitely on the good side. So that's what I say anyway. So I love to you all. Stay strong. Remember, there are lots of wolves in sheep's clothing, and be on your guard, but don't be scared. Don't live in their fear frequency because that's what they want, and don't live in that confusion. Keep it clear, keep it clarified. Clarity is what you get from using your intuition and really reading what your heart tells you. It is your inner guide. Don't forget. It is the superpower against understanding where there's narcissism, and don't be afraid to walk away from it, and never play into their game. Do not engage with these kind of trolls and this kind of behavior. They're so nasty. They're just full of hate, these people. Um, Full of hate or full of just trying to suck energy, and full of actual, you know, pure arrogance and unhealthy. Not a very nice thing. So yes, thank you for listening once again. Uh, do give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to support my channel, then the link is below. I love you all. Good night. God bless.